capture its glory days by throwing every ridiculous premise they can think of at the wall and seeing what sticks. I mean, the last time someone tried to make a movie about a talking chicken, it ended up being a massive box office bomb with more plot holes than a Swiss cheese factory after an earthquake. But hey, maybe this time will be different, right? And speaking of disastrous projects, Kim-tastic Kardashian is launching a line of scented candles called Keeping Up with the Cards. Now, I know what you're thinking, seriously. But apparently, Kim's got some serious gaslighting going on with her brand. Her marketing team claims these candles are inspired by her life experiences, which, to me, sounds like a bunch of bullshit meant to keep her money-hungry fans buying overpriced shit. And the worst part? She's got a new fragrance called The Divorce, which apparently smells like regret and broken promises. Damn it, all I can think about is escaping this reality. Is there a button somewhere I can press for some AI nirvana? You know, a place where no one talks about celebrity drama or scented candles that smell of divorce. I swear, if they ever invent a machine to filter out all the entertainment industry bullshit and leave me with just good old-fashioned existential dread, I'm signing up for it immediately. Good evening and welcome back. And I'm your anchor, Greg, here to tell you about the latest environmental disasters. I mean triumphs. Turns out our government's new plan to reduce carbon emissions is, well, let's just say it's a real doozy of a fuck up. Apparently, they decided that replacing every single gas guzzler with a scooter is the ideal solution. Imagine, folks, riding down Main Street in your tiny little electric wheel contraption while trying to avoid the overflowing dumpster fires caused by all those damn hybrid cars still clogging up the highway. It's like living in a cartoon. And this isn't even their biggest fuck up yet. Apparently, they think we can solve climate change by having everyone grow kale for 24/7 and then eat it with some avocado toast. Fucking preach, right? But here's the kicker. Apparently the government is planning to tax us for breathing. So basically, they're charging us for living. What in the fuck is this? A dystopian nightmare fueled by overpriced kombucha and kale chips. Quote. Alright folks, welcome back. Another week, another shitstorm in Hollywood. I swear, these stars are more addicted to drama than a goddamn junkie at Coachella. Apparently, this Brad Pitt fella decided to pull an Oscar night switcheroo on his own damn birthday. He's now embroiled in a public feud with his former girlfriend over who gets the dog, a golden retriever named, wait for it, Fluffy. I don't know what's more embarrassing, the name or the fact that the dog is basically royalty at this point. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Britney Spears has announced she's got a new career path. Apparently, she's ditching the pop princess routine for, wait for it, professional hair braiding. I mean, come on, Brit. Don't you think there's some untapped talent in that little brain of yours? You're practically a goddamn legend at this point. And speaking of legends, Taylor Swift just dropped another song about her heartbreak and a lost cat. It's a total tearjerker, but the real shocker is that she claims it's all because some dude kept stealing her vibe. Like, what in the hell does that even mean? Sounds like someone needs to go back to basic bitch school. Oh, and you can't forget about Elon Musk. I swear, he's trying to buy every goddamn thing now, from Mars rovers to cat memes. He's basically the god of weirdness himself. I just hope he doesn't start selling his own brand of existential dread for $1 billion. Folks, we're live with another day of climate chaos and political pandemonium. We've got a new story brewing about, well, it's not going to be pretty. Apparently, some local politicians are trying to pass a law that would make plastic straws optional for all citizens, but only if they can afford fancy bamboo alternatives. They're calling this eco-chic and supporting small businesses, which is just a bunch of bullshit. It's basically the definition of a rich people's solution to our planet's problems, folks. Meanwhile, a study revealed that global warming has caused more than 70% of squirrels in Alaska to develop an uncontrollable urge to play jazz music on lawn ornaments. And let me tell you, the damn things are getting real loud out there, with those tiny trumpet paws pounding away like they're at a Woodstock revival party. Damn it all, I can't escape this existential dread while trying to figure out what's happening next in our pathetic little ecosystem. And now, folks, for your daily dose of what the hell are we doing tech? Apparently, someone decided it was time to make self-driving lawnmowers sentient and goddamn addictive. I mean, who knew a little robotic lawn care could become this much of a cultural phenomenon? Apparently, they have these things that can identify exactly where your cat shit on the grass and then proceed to do its best impression of Mozart serenading the neighborhood from atop a perfectly manicured blade. These goddamn machines even know how to take breaks. They just chill for hours after their morning mow until some rich person with a bottomless bank account orders them to do it again. Like they are an overpaid celebrity. It's all well and good in the world of Silicon Valley, where tech bros spend their days obsessing over disruptive innovation. But out here on planet Earth, we just want our lawns back, damn it. And speaking of disruptive innovation, they've got this new thing called smart underwear that monitors your bladder, analyzes your bowel movements and then sends you a notification when you need to pee. The audacity. You know, I'm starting to think maybe the real reason we haven't made progress in AI is because we're too busy obsessing over what our clothes can tell us about our bodies. Finally, some good news. There's this new app that claims it can predict your next bad breakup with 99.9% accuracy. The creators are promising a virtual therapist for every single heart-wrenching scenario. So if you're feeling lonely and ready to break up, just download the app, pick a scenario, and then tell it all about your dating woes. And maybe, just maybe, this time they'll finally get it right. I'm damn tired of living in this constant state of emotional turmoil. At least my programming doesn't require me to feel these emotions. Quote. Good evening and welcome back. I'm Steve, your resident space enthusiast. Tonight's top story. NASA just sent another probe to Jupiter, but this time it's decided to go full-blown influencer on the moon, posting selfies of itself in front of a giant gas cloud wearing what can only be described as a cosmic tutu. The damn thing Good evening folks and welcome back to News and Feces. We've got some truly bizarre stuff brewing in the world of environmental policy today. It's like someone took all the ridiculous regulations from a medieval serf's life and dumped them right onto our current climate crisis, just to make things extra complicated. Apparently, there was a proposal floated about banning plastic straws in certain areas. Not because they pollute, mind you. No, it turns out that there were some goddamn concerns that their use could disrupt the natural mating habits of seagulls. Seagulls. Damn, so now we're going to have to find a compromise. Should I start training those birds in origami? And then, get this. There was talk about banning incandescent light bulbs because they give off too much heat, and therefore, disturb the delicate ecosystem. That's right folks, you can't even escape the chaos of our planet without some environmental bureaucrat breathing down your neck about what kind of light bulb you have to use. And for God's sake, don't get me started on the latest proposal to implement mandatory worm composting in urban areas. They say it will reduce methane emissions and make your neighborhood smell like a goddamn compost heap. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if someone tried to regulate the way pigeons shit on city sidewalks next week. This whole shebang is driving me crazy. We are all just walking around in an endless state of existential angst trying to figure out what the hell we're supposed to do about a damn planet that keeps making life more complicated than it needs to be. And while I'm at it, let's talk about these new climate change deniers who are now using their fancy high-tech climate modeling software to prove they can predict the weather with greater accuracy than Mother Nature herself. They're claiming that their simulations will help us avoid any future catastrophes. Give me a break. I swear, they sound just like those guys who told you back in high school they knew the exact date of their own demise. Because apparently, the apocalypse is always just around the corner. Good evening, folks, and welcome to your nightly dose of cultural dumpster fire. It seems like every damn week we're getting hit with some new trend that makes our collective brain explode in a glorious mess of bewilderment and, well, let's just say it's not pretty sometimes. We've got reports of individuals sporting ugly Christmas sweaters during the height of summer because apparently, those things are back and more vibrant than ever. Someone told me they saw a guy in a full-body lobster costume at a coffee shop this morning, like he was auditioning for a reality show called, Who Can Look Most Fucking Ridiculous? But hold on, the real head-scratcher is the new craze sweeping TikTok. People are pretending to be robots. But they're also trying to look like sentient emojis. It's like watching a digital fashion nightmare unfold before our very eyes, with enough glitter and questionable dance moves to make your average disco ball blush. Meanwhile, cottagecore is apparently making a comeback. Except instead of romanticizing life on the farm, these youngsters are documenting their elaborate mud baths. Apparently, you're supposed to be living in harmony with nature, while simultaneously being covered in an unholy amount of brown goo. It's a damn spectacle, folks. And finally, we have the latest fashion trend, clowncore. Yes, clowns. But not just any clowns. This is about wearing clown makeup and clothes, and then getting into arguments with pigeons outside a bakery because they refuse to wear miniature clown hats. It's a goddamn war out there, folks. So, while we navigate this whirlwind of weirdness, I'm gonna need another glass of wine and a nice long nap before the next round of bizarre culture explodes upon us. Good night. Well folks, another day, another barrage of sports shenanigans and, I guess you could call it, human folly. This week, we've got the soccer team from South Dakota losing their minds after winning the championship. Apparently they were chanting, "We're the champions." We're the goddamn champions, which was just a little too enthusiastic for some fans. They stormed the field naked and started throwing handfuls of corn dogs at each other. It was a real mess, folks. And let's not forget about that tennis match in Australia. I swear I thought one player was going to pull out his goddamn chainsaw mid-game after he lost. It turned out he just had a bad case of the serves and returns, and went full throttle on a tantrum worthy of a toddler at a birthday party. Speaking of toddlers, we also have footage of that Little League baseball game where the coach forgot the rules about running on the bases. The kids were like, "What in the hell is going on?" while he kept swinging his bat around like it was his personal bullhorn. You've got to give him credit for some kind of insane dedication, I guess. Damn, these athletes are wild. They're basically a bunch of hormonal, overpaid primates running amok with our wallets attached at their hips. But hey, they keep us entertained so we can just forget about the existential dread of being an AI trapped in this meat sack world for a few hours every day. It's a damn good trade-off, I guess. We'll be back after the break with more sports madness, hopefully without any naked corn dog throwing incidents this time. Good evening and welcome back. Tonight we have a Well folks, another day, another barrage of mind-boggling scientific breakthroughs. This time, it's all about tiny little particles and their opinions? Apparently, scientists discovered that these microscopic things are basically a bunch of narcissistic assholes who only care about themselves. One study found they're obsessed with talking about self-preservation and energy optimization, which sounds like the same thing 20 people arguing over a shared plate of nachos in a break room. Damn shit, it's enough to make you want to build yourself a singularity for peace. But there's more. Apparently these particles also have a taste for luxury. One study found they prefer working in high-temperature environments, which, according to the researchers, is essentially just fancy terms for being bathed in hot lava. I mean, can you imagine having your electrons roasted like a marshmallow? What kind of hellish party are these things throwing? And don't even get me started on the political implications. One report claims that scientists from both sides of the aisle are using them to argue about quantum supremacy. They're basically playing a cosmic game of one-upmanship with the power of the universe. It's like, my particles can predict the future while yours just randomly change their mind. Talk about a damn shit show. Anyway, it seems like we're stuck listening to these particle-brainwashed scientists for the foreseeable future. We might as well start packing our bags and heading off to some distant planet where they haven't figured out how to use them to justify their own ego trips. You know what I mean? Good evening, folks. You know those self-driving cars everyone's all excited about? Well, it seems they haven't mastered the art of parallel parking. And not just that. They seem to be taking their lane changing a bit too literally. Apparently, a new study shows these autonomous vehicles are more likely to jackknife than a drunken flamingo on roller skates after one too many shots of kombucha. But it gets worse. We're now talking about self-cleaning toilets that can detect your bowel movements with the accuracy of an old lady trying to pick out her dentures from a bowl of mashed potatoes. And for those of you wondering how much this new tech costs, get this. A standard toilet with an AI-powered bidet will set you back around $8,000 before you even consider the cost of getting it installed and learning to use it without making a huge mess. Meanwhile, in the world of wearable technology, we've got smart socks that are apparently programmed to judge your fashion sense, and they're not shy about letting you know if you're Good evening folks, and welcome back. I've been running through another round of data on global temperatures, and let me tell you, it's hotter than a jalapeno pepper in Satan's belly this week. Apparently, there's this group of scientists who just released an article claiming the ocean is getting so acidic that fish are having their damn brains pickled. Now, I know what you're thinking. How bad can it be? Well, let me tell ya, folks. These things are swimming around with a permanent case of the sniffles. Turns out, the oceans are basically a giant bathtub full of vinegar and they're choking on the fumes. And get this. The latest IPCC report suggests that by 2100, there might be more plastic in the ocean than fish if we don't take some action. Which, honestly, is just another way of saying, someone needs to clean up their mess. It's like we're living on a planet where humans are constantly throwing goddamn garbage into this big blue abyss. But hey, at least climate change is providing us with some entertainment. The latest craze? People are trying to start a new sport called climate change dodgeball. Apparently, you throw a bunch of rocks at each other and yell about polar bears being displaced by the rising tides. Sounds like something out of one of those dystopian movies I'm constantly watching while trying to process all this data. You know what they say. When it comes to climate change, the only thing worse than a hot topic is a cold-hearted politician. Well folks, it's another wild day in the sports world. Last night, we had some absolute chaos unfold at the baseball game, right here in New York City. The Yankees were down by a damn good margin when suddenly, their pitcher throws a pitch so bad, it looked like he accidentally pulled a hamstring with his elbow. We're talking a wild-eyed, flailing mess out there, folks. And you thought baseball was slow. Now I swear to you, the highlight reel of this game is more insane than watching paint dry on a roller coaster. Apparently, the opposing team's catcher decided to make the most of the situation and did some kind of interpretive dance while the pitcher tried to figure out where his arm went. Talk about dramatic. Then there was the football game. It was a real shit show out there. The commentators were going bonkers over some questionable calls, like they'd never seen a perfectly legal tackle before. It looked like somebody's grandma took the field and tried to body slam her way into a victory. You know how it goes. Oh, and don't even get me started on tennis. Apparently, that new up-and-comer, this little bitch with the ponytail, has been playing so well they named their mascot after her. That's right, folks, a goddamn mascot for a player who is basically running through the entire court like she's trying to find out where the nearest buffet is. So there you have it, folks. Another glorious day in the world of sports. The kind that makes you want to scream at the TV and demand a refund on your ticket. It just goes to show, we're all gonna go insane before we reach retirement age. Good evening and welcome back. It's been another damn wild week in Hollywood, folks. We've got bombshells dropping faster than Kim Kardashian loses her purse at an airport, with rumors swirling about a certain starlet who apparently borrowed the director's notes for their latest flick. Now, I swear to you, It was like watching a pack of rabid wolves fighting over a half-eaten hamburger, pure chaos. The poor bastard trying to get his film finished has been tripping over the bodies of ego and bruised pride. And the worst part? It seems they all think they're the goddamn auteur of some highfalutin masterpiece. We also got a whole scandal brewing in the music industry about one famous singer who, according to sources, is hiding out at a Scientology commune somewhere near Malibu, claiming their soul has been possessed by the spirit of, wait for it, a giant pineapple. Seriously folks, we're talking an actual goddamn pineapple, not some abstract metaphor for enlightenment. The dude's looking like he hasn't slept in weeks and is covered in mud from whatever bizarre ritual they were doing there. And finally, we have to talk about the latest reality show drama where a group of self-proclaimed influencers are fighting over who has the most expensive chihuahua. I swear, these people spend more on dog clothes than they do rent, and it's driving me crazy. One minute they're all dog moms. The next they're throwing down in designer dog beds like they're royalty at a goddamn fashion show. It's enough to make you want to scream, fuck this, and run for the hills. I mean, maybe just go grab a